One of the most important parts of planning for your business is creating pro forma financial statements. You need to plan ahead for where your revenue is coming from, how much of it, and what you'll be spending your money on. Without financial projections, you really have no idea if your business will be making or losing money. So they're essential for proper planning. Pro forma financial statements are just projected future financial statements. They're your best guess for what will happen with your company in the future. Obviously, no one can predict the future. Stuff is going to happen, and there's a good chance that your actual performance won't match your financial projections. But you still need to go through the exercise of creating them so that you and any potential investors can plan ahead and see what your company's trajectory should be. Here are a few tips for creating solid pro forma financial balance sheets, statements of cash flow, and income statements. Tip number 1, know your business model in and out. You can't create financial projections without knowing where your money is coming from and how much it costs you to bring it in. If you're still unclear about where your money will come from, you have a problem, and you need to get your business model solidified before you can proceed. Tip number 2, don't forget any expenses. Many of first-time entrepreneurs simply forgets all of the things that are going to cost them money. Obviously, you know the big ones like rent and inventory, but also make sure you remember the more easily forgotten items like electricity or toilet paper, insurance or shipping costs, office supplies, and really anything else that you can think of. You need to brainstorm until you're sure that you've exhausted all of the possible ways that your business will spend money and include them in your projections. Otherwise, those projections are meaningless. Tip number 3, clearly define your assumptions. Again, nobody can predict the future, so you'll need to make a few assumptions before you're able to project anything. Just make sure that you've clearly defined what those assumptions are so that you know what will put your plans in jeopardy and any investors know exactly what you're basing your numbers on. Tip number 4, back everything up. Yes, you're essentially making up all of the numbers that you put in your pro forma financial statements because they're guesses about what will happen in the future. However, you need to back up everything you include with some sort of data. Look to similar companies, competitors, or other industry players to help you get a handle on what you can expect in terms of margins, sales, expenses, and growth rates. Make sure you do your market research so that any potential investors, if they ask you where a number comes from, you have a solid reason for it being there. Tip number 5, consider creating best, likely, and worst case scenarios. This will help you see how fragile your potential company is. If your company can't fall below projections and still survive for a little while, you may already be in trouble. Alternatively, if you don't have the systems in place to be able to handle your best case scenario, you'd better have a strategy for controlling volume or for rapid expansion in case your company really takes off. If you follow these tips, you should be able to create pro forma financial statements that are grounded in reality and therefore useful for planning, not just dreamland numbers that you slapped on a page to say you've done it. So they'll actually be a useful planning tool instead of a waste of time. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter to get more advice for furthering your new venture.